Well, I mean, at least the power's not blinking on and off like it was earlier today.
Oh,
Way to jinx us. At least we have power dead. That happened to me yesterday. We were just finishing the track. Imagine like putting 2 hours into it and then it blinked just enough to keep all the information on. He's like, fuck, I didn't save anything. I was like, bro, save. Save. You always like 2 hours work, like an hour in, I'm going to save something as important as like
I'm pretty sure
laying down vocals.
I'm pretty sure you could throw in settings to automatically save every X amount of time.
Yeah.
So it progressively, so you don't lose everything.
Yeah,
Thank God for autosave.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I think he had one of those battery backups on his computer, which is why it didn't knock out. Like it was just like ping, ping, back on. Otherwise, that could suck. That could suck ass. That's like, I've given up on games because of that very reason.
You lose
Where,
enough progress, you're like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah, where like you die and you didn't save right, and I'm just like, I'll be back tomorrow, and then never cut. It's like I went for milk, fuck the kids, I'm not coming back.
Yep.
The game isn't worth it. Cue the music. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson, Ian.
Ed?
We are here. We just finished watching Secret Invasion.
Yes?
Episode 1.
Yeah. I'm kind of loving it.
I like it. I like what they're doing so far.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. Samuel L. Jackson playing Samuel L. Jackson.
He's much more relaxed into the role and very much being more of himself there.
Yeah, I agree.
Popcorn and
6
shit.
motherfuckers in the first episode alone.
Yeah, Disney
6.
Plus paid extra for that.
That is his, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson's like, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
They're definitely letting it be more of an adult tone of a show. It's a little more in depth. You definitely have to pay much more attention. They're throwing in all these tiny little details that like blink and you miss and put a camera.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not paying attention, like even Talos mentions his age and what is essentially considered a midlife crisis for them and all that other kind of little bits and pieces in there.
You just took a shot at me because I didn't know his age? We were watching the show, and I legitimately like, how old is this guy? And then he's like, oh, you didn't pay attention? And then he come back to mention it on the podcast. Fucking dick move. Dick move, sir. I know what you did.
I say it to
actually,
point
well
out
played.
because chances are those little details are going to be the way they confirm things when they're dealing with identity later on. It's the way you always see them do it when you're dealing with shapeshifters. What's the piece of information only you and I know kind of nonsense.
But
It's also got to be the first time the word spook has ever been said on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And probably the last time it'll ever be said.
by Samuel L. Jackson. By Samuel L.
Of course.
Jackson. Yeah.
Not by Ian Banks on the Sofa Kingdom podcast.
He did say it.
I did just say it.
No, but it's definitely going to be one of those shows where I hope it's just hidden enough from plain sight that like by the time whatever big reveals start happening, you're like, oh, fuck, I knew it.
Yep.
Or I should have seen that coming, because those are the best kind of reveals.
It's good, but I don't know if it's good enough for me to get Disney Plus again.
Listen, you can watch it here every
good.
Sunday
Sounds good.
before we start the podcast.
It's a good way to go.
All right.
Perfect.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, I'll show up a little early and I'll get the episode.
Show up a little early. Where's your credit card?
That's in my car.
You see the way my bank account is set up?
Yeah,
It's
I mean, they jump right into it. You already have people that you think are the right people, and then they turn out to be the squirrels, and vice versa. They're really leaning right in. They're not shying
can't
away
trust
from what they can do when you're dealing with the scrolls.
There was another show in mind that I loved. It was a fantastic sci-fi drama, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought you were going to say V.
V's another good one, but Battlestar Galactica did that like hidden, because like the Cylons were finally evolved to human form, and there were characters that went for like 3 seasons, or like you're rooting for them, and then when you finally find out they're a Cylon, you're like, what the fuck? I felt betrayed. Like, how dare you, writers? But those are the kind of dope reveals that happen over time, right? In a show like that. I hope it has the same effect when it's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Because like Battlestar Galactica was like 15 episodes per season, you know, something like that. So you kind of got like lost in the sauce as far as the character development. Whereas like shorter episodes, hopefully they could pull it off, but may not have the same luster.
Episode 1, 54 minutes. It's essentially an hour-long episode, especially when you say that there's no commercial breaks, unlike normal television where an hour-long show was really only about 40 minutes once you cut out the commercial. So technically, that first episode itself is longer than most 1-hour television shows.
Sure. But I think it was done really well. No spoilers, but some game-changing moments in the first episode itself.
I think we could talk about spoilers. This will be out in 3 days or so. By that point, if you're not keeping up, you're not keeping up.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
I give you the weekend. Like,
all right.
We had saw Flash. I didn't see spoiler stuff until that Monday.
Okay.
Right? Which wasn't too bad. And anyone that was putting anything out was actually very considerate about saying spoilers before it popped up.
And to be fair, anybody that was going to see the movie saw it that weekend because it fucking tanked after that.
Yeah.
The movie sales went dead.
I went and saw it. My fucking theater was empty.
I gotta say, I was surprised because we had a packed theater.
Yeah.
It did worse than it had better reviews than Black Adam, but sales-wise did worse than Black Adam.
So here's the thing. Here's where it comes back to what we were discussing. Major superstars.
Yep.
Like, a movie can do terrible, but if you put somebody like The Rock in there, he has a following.
Yep.
Ezra Miller may have been gaining a following, but let's face it,
He's lost a lot
from what he's done, and also he didn't really get great love in the Harry Potter films either.
No, but he had a very odd role in the Harry Potter movies. They tried to show him like he was front and center. His character really wasn't front and center.
Not at all. I forgot he was even in.
And his character was very alienated and abused, is what his character essentially was. So
Ezra Miller was in what fucking Harry Potter?
The Dumbledores.
Oh.
Yeah, those movies.
That's why
what I'm
I
saying.
don't know.
See, what point in case?
Because I totally saw those ones.
Did not. No, so I mean, I went in the same reasons you guys went in. We wanted to see Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I was just hoping that DC could somehow be saved. And now I don't know what James Gunn's going to show up to.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen because
he's going to show up to a burnt down house.
We got Blue Beetle coming up. There's other movies that are already filmed, already slated to come out.
But can you look me in the face and tell me you're excited for Blue Beetle?
No.
Okay.
I am. And I'll tell you why.
Let him explain himself.
I like the two characters.
I like the characters. The trailer's not really getting me hyped.
I like the you got George Lopez. To me, he's a hilarious Latin actor. Like I watched the George Lopez show. I think all of the fucking episodes, and then the other kid plays in Karate Kid or what's the Cobra Kai.
Oh, okay.
He plays in Cobra Kai. He's one of the lead kids from Cobra Kai. So perhaps he can pull some of those YouTube viewers, Cobra Kai people.
Maybe.
So it's very Latinx positive.
Dead silence. No, we do not apply for Latinx. We don't want Latinx. We will never, ever conform to Latinx.
Here's the problem with the DC movies. You want comic book movies to draw in families.
The end.
Well, you want them to draw in families, but the content they're putting out isn't always necessarily family friendly for younger children you want to bring to the movie.
Right.
So you're alienating your audience before they get there. You want it to be out there where you're dragging in the whole family with the kids. But when you make them slightly more adult, you get less of the families with the kids, which means you're getting less draw. And the movies, none of them have had the hope that you normally have in a comic book movie. They're very bleak.
Okay,
well, Marvel kind of got the noose around the funny, bright colored style of making their movies.
Yeah.
Right.
And then DC, the only angle they had was like the Batman and the Man of Steel
leading
approach.
it to serious.
Dark and serious.
Yeah.
But then they tried to throw with Justice League, you could tell they were trying as hard as they could to force feed humor, and it was horrible.
And that's a good point because there is a line where the adults are the ones bringing the kids, right? So you do want it to have that fine line of this is good for both crowds, but
Super Mario World.
Like Super Mario World.
That movie theater was fucking packed. It was full of children, and it was full of people like me that were trying to relive their childhood.
And even Into the Spider-Verse. Look how great is it Into the Spider-Verse, the new one?
Yeah.
Did. Like, as a cartoon, these cartoons are hitting harder. But, like, point in case, when you go to Shazam! Fury of the Gods, we're in there. We're trying to enjoy. Like Shazam 1, perfect.
Yep.
Hit the bill. Shazam 2 was like shit the bed, and it was because they leaned too hard onto unicorns and Skittles.
No,
and,
fuck, man. When I saw the CGI in that movie, I knew then and there how bad the Flash was going to be.
They need to allow each movie carry the tone necessary for the characters. Shazam was too dark in the look for what Shazam should be. A happier, lighter movie. Same thing with Superman. You can get away with doing dark and gritty for Batman because Batman is supposed to be that way.
Right.
But Superman is supposed to be the greatest hope in all DC.
Right.
He doesn't use excessive violence. He
Bright
always
blue,
saves
bright
the
red,
day.
and yellow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a Picasso painting.
So I
with
mean,
muscles.
if you're trying to make the tone of every movie dark, it doesn't work because not all the characters fit that tone.
Somebody said Batman doesn't fit into a movie like that because they said, like, in broad daylight they're fighting Zod, and then you have a guy wearing black that's supposed to be jumping from rooftop to rooftop in Gotham, ambushing people in the shadows. Here he is trying to fight a Kryptonian in a plane. It's
Right.
like, you're out of place, sir.
And
sir, you're out of place.
well, I get it. Okay, I was going to say, where the fuck is the Kryptonite? But he didn't even really know that Kryptonians were. But you're the greatest detective in the planet, and also you don't know that there's a Kryptonian.
But he was retired because, you know.
That's true. Yeah, there was a lot of
he had already solved all
He
the
was
crimes.
successful. He was the one Batman. He was successful. He retired.
Right.
He was out of practice.
Yeah.
You know, he
okay.
beat the shit out of a couple people in his kitchen.
Fair enough. The pasta was amazing.
Yeah.
No, but it does lend itself to, I think, what you're saying. Each movie should set its own tone. Not every movie needs to be a family-friendly movie.
Just
Not
like
every
when
movie
Thor,
needs to be
when Thor came out and it was a comedy, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Where they let it just be lighter and they let it be funnier and they let it separate from the tone of the other movies.
Yeah.
So it could be the strongest it could be on its own.
And I think it's the best Thor film.
Yeah, Ragnarok. Yeah,
Yeah,
by far.
Thor Dark World was a stinker.
Yeah.
Because they went really dark. His mother died.
Yep.
They tried to kill Jane. I think one of the Infinity Stones was like that weird swarm thing that was inside Jane Foster.
Yes.
Like so it was
The
it was
ether.
Just, it was just a strange film, man. I don't know.
It was, and I think it was because also they did have really good but also dramatic actors and actresses in it.
Yeah.
So they probably kind of wanted to placate a little bit towards that kind of a tone.
They tried that with the Eternals.
Right. They did, and it didn't work again. But too, like, I'd never even heard of the Eternals as a big comic book guy until the movie, and then I started doing research into
Knew
them.
very little about them, even when it was announced. I was like, oh, that is very, very deep cuts to pull out these guys.
Yeah, but it was just like Guardians of the Galaxy. But
Never
that
heard
was
of Blue
done
Beetle
well.
either, but here we are.
Oh, I know. I know a lot about
Yeah.
the Blue Beetle because I was into the DC universe for quite some time.
You're also Spanish.
And I'm also Spanish. I was like, we got one. Wepa! Oh, man.
There's got to be. Wait a minute. Besides for the Blue Beetle, there's got to be other great Hispanic superheroes. Miles
Zorro.
Morales,
Zorro.
He's Mexican. He's Mexican. Miles Morales. He's Puerto Rican.
Yes.
You guys technically have a Spider-Man.
But he's
Spider-Man.
fairly new.
He's also Spider-Man.
But he is. Well, I mean, listen, I'll take it.
That's Marvel's boy.
I'm taking
That's
it.
like the figurehead.
Every time they talk about
That's a
Miles
big
Morales,
one.
I'm like, he's half Puerto Rican. he's half Puerto Rican. You guys know that?
He is.
Did you guys know that?
And he's half black. So
And
they're
he's
gonna
half
fight-
black.
They're going
That's
to fight
right.
you for that one.
Yes. Okay, so we got Miles Morales, we got Blue Beetle, we got Zorro,
Come on, there's got to be
Well, they-
other
Dora, we got Dora the Explorer.
They made the
superheroes.
They made
she has a talking map and a fucking monkey.
A fucking one. Michael Jackson had one. Bubbles was his name. Yeah,
Hey, listen.
that's my fuck.
They
All
made
right, what other Latin superheroes
they
are
made
there?
the Flash Latin in this last movie.
We're not claiming that one. We're giving that
Fair.
one back. No,
Ed,
fuck that.
no.
Fuck that.
Fair.
Take him back.
No,
Take him back. We don't want him.
you guys got him.
We do not claim
All
him.
you.
You ever seen Dave Chappelle when they were doing the race trading?
The racial draft.
Oh yeah.
The racial draft. The Chinese people wanted Wu-Tang Clan. They traded Tiger Woods.
That's actually fucking with me right now because I can't think from the top of my head. I mean, we got
Exactly.
Miles Morales. Holy shit, really? You guys aren't represented that
We
well?
don't really have that many like prevalent Spanish
And then they got
superheroes.
They got people like Iron Fist that are just culturally appropriating the fuck out of things. I mean, I couldn't even watch that show. This
Blue
dude can't
Beetle,
fight.
and even in the cartoons, in the DC cartoons, was really, and which is why I gravitated towards liking him, one of the first Latin superhero cartoons in the DC universe.
Here's a supposed list of the top 10. Miles Morales.
Boom.
America Chavez.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing about her.
The Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider.
He was fantastic.
Okay.
Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner. Huh. They threw us one.
He's Mexican American. Okay.
Didn't know that. Okay.
One of the
Green Lantern.
Spider Girls, Anya.
Okay. Never heard of her.
Jamie Reyes.
Wait,
Blue
what was her
Beetle.
name? Nunya?
Sunspot. I don't know who the fuck Sunspot is.
He is an X-Men character, I believe.
White Tiger. Oh, yeah. Spider-Man 2099. He's Spanish as well.
Okay.
And that's it.
So a lot of
That's it.
Spider-Man.
A lot of Spider-Man.
guys
We
got
got like
that, yeah.
6 Spider-Mans.
He is in New York.
But, okay, I will
You
say
can't have
this.
that much New York action without some Puerto Ricans. You can't. That's the way it goes.
I thought he was probably the best live-action depiction of a Ghost Rider so far.
Yeah.
And that's the one from the, what's the name of that show? S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Did you see the S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I did not.
Okay, so
It's a good show.
it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, it's actually very, very good.
It deals with the Inhumans.
It does. And he plays a fantastically dark Ghost Rider. But he doesn't ride the motorcycle. He's riding like a hot rod car, and he's
He's
just
got
like,
a muscle car.
You know, in the Marvel comic arc where Thanos won, Ghost Rider was his butler because he was the only one that he couldn't kill. he made the Hulk his dog and forced him to eat the other Avengers.
that's fucking sick.
Good comic.
Damn, I've never read that one. Oh,
Yeah, there's
gotta
some
get down on that.
there's some real dark ones when you get in there.
The Hulk lives in a pit under Thanos' throne, and there's like, they show this one scene, he's like, he's in this pile of bones, and he's like real feral. It's like a feral Hulk, and like you see like Thor's helmet in the corner, Captain America's shield, Iron Man's helmet. It's like he ate the Avengers one by one.
Yep.
Damn.
It's like, God damn, like
Yeah, because that's it. You got to survive. Damn.
Thanos won that one. Why? But I guess
Who do you think he ate first? Okay, if you got a bunch of Avengers in a pit, and you're the
Hawkeye.
Hulk, and you're the Hulk.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Okay, Hawkeye. Yeah, that makes sense.
fuck
He's
out
the
of here,
weakest. He's the weakest.
I think he goes for Iron Man first.
You think?
I think so.
Yeah, you guys. I don't want to say that you have weird tendencies, but I'm eating Scarlett Johansson.
Why wouldn't you keep her around a while?
Actually, valid point. The last to go is the Black Widow. Yes. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Once I'm really hungry.
That's right. Yeah. I'm like, sorry, kid. Your time has come.
That's right.
No, but like another group of superheroes that got taken from us were the Three Amigos. There wasn't a Latin guy in the bunch.
Yeah.
It was Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase.
What the fuck?
We're the Three Amigos. There's not one amigo in the motherfucker.
There's not.
But also such an underrated comedy classic.
Also, what's the professional or the oh my god the
Bonesaw.
no the wrestling one with Jack Black.
Oh, Nacho Libre.
Nacho
yeah,
Libre.
Listen,
yeah.
Libre.
I don't give a fuck. Whatever Jack Black wants to be, I'm in. I do not
He is
care.
not
we,
a Mexican.
we claim him for Mexico. I'm not even Mexican.
all right.
He gets away with stuff. He does.
He does because he's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
He's hilarious. He has one of the most jovial like sense of humor is when people meet him. Like you see these videos, like he's always on.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys.
He was my favorite part of the Mario movie.
Yeah, you feel like if you met him in person, like that's just his general personality. He's
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
just like
Oh, yeah.
a showman. He's just a funny guy. He likes people.
Positive energy all around.
Yeah.
It'll take you a long way.
Yeah, I mean, look, that Koopa suit that he wore, fucking amazing. Did you
Yeah.
see that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, like
When he showed up to the premiere.
Yeah.
above and beyond. He ain't getting
Yeah.
paid for that, but that's just him
He
being
don't
like,
he don't give a shit.
I need a fucking Koopa suit. I wonder if he put that in his contract.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The music video for Peaches was fantastic too.
Oh yeah.
He had like an interpretive Bowser outfit. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, he's one of those rare individuals that was like kind of who's the guy that played Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh,
Help me out, bro. What's
The Spanish guy.
Eddie? What's the name of the Mrs. Doubtfire?
I washed my hands.
There was a war movie. Something about
Anyway, so 30 years.
good
And
morning, America.
he fails to keep a promise of finding him a home after 30 years. Really, Captain Marvel is his best resource to find them a planet. Because you say 30 years back, he didn't have any real space technology.
Right.
They were new to the fact that there was aliens. So their only ability to find them a whole planet would be Captain Marvel getting out there and doing something, which means she ain't doing her job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She could be doing like intergalactic space shit. You know? And
When
he
you're
was
out there,
on the ship.
when you're out there saving planets, you mean you don't fly by one that you could be like, hey, that one's fucking empty.
Yeah.
What about the Guardians of the Galaxy? He couldn't reach out to these motherfuckers?
They weren't out there yet.
Yeah, and they're pretty far out there.
He's
They're
had
living
Captain-
inside a celestial head.
So where does this fall in the timeline?
He had Captain Marvel.
This is after the blip?
Captain Marvel is back with the Skrulls. So she's there when he makes the promise. So for 30 years, she's also failed at finding them somewhere to go. So the Guardians only come up now, around the time of the blip.
Okay.
So the Guardians are new to the whole fact, and they're not aware of the Skrulls because they've been kept under wraps because a group of shapeshifters makes people a little unwary because,
you can't completely blame her. When half of the galaxy is gone, she's one of the very few left good guys with that kind of power.
You're right. So she failed for 25 of the 30 years.
Yeah, let's cut her some slack. 25. You know what I mean? I mean, from 30 minus 5, 25, that's half, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking the math here.
So 30 years. They're angry about a promise made 30 years ago. I'm trying to think.
I mean, 30 years
while,
stuck on a
guys.
ship. I'd be mad too.
That's a long time.
I'd be mad
But
too.
you're also saying, like, you couldn't find them a sizable island
Yeah.
and let them have their own nation? You couldn't do something to...
We could definitely harbor them here in how many are there? How many are we talking?
It wasn't a couple thousand.
It wasn't a lot in the beginning. I mean, that encampment had about 500 people.
I mean, isn't there
So
some
in 30
reservations out
years-
west?
So it took 30 years for 500 of them to break off from the main bunch. The question is, how fast do they reproduce?
Ian wants to put them on Indian reservations. What?
They can't scroll some black hair?
It's actually a huge misstep on the government if they knew.
Hi,
because-
we're a new tribe.
Right. Like, hey, you guys can live here, but when we need you to fight off intergalactic space shit, you guys got to have our backs. Like, that could have been, something they could have worked out easily.
Oh, no, I'd be pretty mad if I brought a girl home and it turned out to be some scroll pussy.
Would you? Would you, though?
I don't
Now
know.
here's...
Hold on. We got it. Real quick. Would you?
Is she transforming mid?
She could transform into anything you want.
That's right, Ian. You can have Hulk Hogan.
Do you want Macho Man and Elizabeth? Just blink. You got them both.
I'm in.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Wait a minute. They can just completely regenerate. No, wait a minute.
They could turn into
They can
anything.
shift sexes and shit. Can scrolls
I
shift
am
sex?
assuming if you're a shapeshifter...
Yes, because look, the guy turned into a little girl, then an old man, then a young girl while he was walking.
So they're also shifting their density to change to heights and different sizes as well.
And their genitals.
I mean, I would assume so. But they're only really looking at their faces.
Okay.
So possibly no.
It's
But
just a
possibly,
blank sheet.
But possibly yes.
It's a big old scroll hole.
But possibly yes.
I mean, we don't know much
Big old
about him
scroll.
other than 135 isn't quite midlife crisis. 140 is, so you say they probably live around 300 years. So for them, a 30-year mistake is a 15-year mistake. That's really not terrible when you're trying to find a new place for a whole race to live.
But still significant enough to harbor resentment towards the people that made a promise.
Yeah.
But start a nuclear war, wipe us all out.
Enough to kill billions of people because they're looking to start a war, a nuclear war, which would wipe everyone out, leaving the few hundred of them that's floating around left.
If they had another option, they would take it. That's the big throw. They don't. So the closest option to them, the one that's available, is where they're hovering over the planet Earth. And so for them, it's the only obvious choice.
I don't know about you, but destroying the planet seems like a pretty shitty way to math your math. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to turn everything to a fucking wasteland.
Right.
So nothing can grow.
Right.
Except for our scroll plants.
But even...
Say Florida, though. Because we have Disney World. We have Disney World. Skrulls love Disney World. I heard this is
just because the Skrulls are resistant to radiation doesn't mean that their food is.
This is true. This is true.
That's what they're gonna eat.
And if you destroy everything,
roach meat,
you're not gonna have much left.
Twinkies.
But they're resilient. So I mean, they could to not have found them a planet by now just seems off.
But
it does seem a little lazy on the part of Captain Marvel. Not Nick Fury. He's a man.
Yeah. I agree.
Captain Marvel out there, you're right, out there flying around. She can't notice one.
You know what? Fuck Captain Marvel. That's where we're at right now.
It is,
bitch.
It is. Bitch. She's not one of my favorites.
No, she is definitely not.
Because let's say you're the Skrull.
We could trade her to DC.
They make
for
you a
Henry Cavill.
promise to find you a planet, but you're on a planet they didn't even know aliens existed. So you have to look at them and go, okay, they're going to try to help us, but they have zero space travel because they didn't even know aliens existed. How long for them to now understand aliens exist? You need to make space travel, and you need to make space travel that's capable of going the long enough distance to get us to look for planets. This is probably going to take us a generation or two. So you have to be going in there knowing this is going to take a long fucking while. So let me not be a dick 30 years in when the race that has zero space travel can't keep the promise of space travel.
Listen, I am a problem solver. You hire the same people that made the submarine for these 6 billionaires. You put the Skrulls in it and you submerge them. No, they could have easily reached out to Asgard for Asgardian technology to use the Rainbow Bridge to transport.
Yeah, by Bifrost them.
Bang, Bifrost them bitches.
Yeah, by this point in time, you've run across Captain Marvel, who could be searching. You have Thor, who could have been searching. You had the Guardians now, who they've dealt with, who could have been searching. Iron Man has now successfully made it across space.
Correct.
He could have been helping.
Yes.
There's a dozen people in the last 10, 15 years in the Marvel timeline that could have started legitimately helping. Yes. So what the fuck happened?
Maybe the Skrulls do have a reason to feel resentment.
They feel slighted because they're probably looking at all this information. Maybe Eddie's a Skrull. Maybe he's feeding them this type of information, and so they're fucking harboring this kind of resentment towards us. I get it. No, but even the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when you watch the show, and it's no longer canon, right? It's a part of the Marvel universe.
Well, the way they
had some run-ins with travel.
Spoiler for the show, the way they ended it, they were on a separate timeline, and then they jumped back to the main timeline.
That's true too. Yeah. But there were ways, and they were overlooked, and which is why we are in this predicament that we are in now. And we have established, watching the show, that the Skrulls are significantly more agile, stronger, but they are still susceptible to the same kind of they're not
physical damage.
So
a 6-story fall did kill a Skrull.
Yeah.
But they also were capable of kicking somebody through a concrete wall and straight breaking, chains that were holding doors closed with their bare hands.
It kind of makes sense because like a 6-story fall, and then also like one guy took 2 bullets, died. So
yeah. So they're not impervious.
So bodily damage, like anyone else, is gonna do its due diligence, and the sudden stop after a graceful fall also does its damage.
Bodily damage.
Okay, so
it made a squishy sound.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of Marvel, still they finally got the rights back to the Hulk, so they can, moving forward, if they want to,
World War Hulk,
a Hulk movie, Hulk show, and they can lean into that if they want to with Mr. Ruffalo.
Yep.
And do some things. They could probably go the whole route. Yeah, Planet Hulk, Savage Hulk.
At this point, it would be odd for him to have his own individual movie versus like him and like 2 other people. And I'd say that for almost every one of their movies, short of like the movie that's introducing someone individually.
Well, they could really introduce his son. They could make that like the Hulk is there. They could do like that Will Smith movie with his son where like they just show the Hulk, and he's in like the first 30 seconds.
And then the whole movie's about Scar and his bad hairline.
and just fuck everybody over. That movie really fucking pissed me off. I forget the name of it. But
After Earth.
After Earth. Yeah. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a good Will Smith. This was pre-slap, not post-slap. Like the blip. Like that was Will Smith's blip.
He made you believe he was going to be in it.
Yeah.
He was in all. He was front and center in all the coming attraction trailers, and then only the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and then he's gone.
And then it's just his son, who's a terrible actor. The movie sucked. I was so fucking angry about that movie. I watched it all the way through though, but I was fucking pissed.
Because you knew what Will had done to you.
Yeah, man, these motherfuckers.
Hey man, you want to give his son a chance. You know?
No, I don't. Not everybody's son deserves a chance. You know, when you watch these things, you know.
Sure, sometimes the sons don't live up. You know?
No.
Julio Cesar Chavez, his son, just not as good.
Yeah.
Not as fucking good.
Son of Zorro, not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Son of the Mask, way worse than the Mask.
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un,
not as good as Kim Jong-il.
He's a shit. He's a shit.
Not as good as Kim Jong-il.
Yeah, but his sister's a bitch. His sister's a psycho. Oh. Kim Jong-un.
I'm pretty sure the whole family has a few emotional regulation problems.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whole family sucks. But
I think when you have that kind of power, that you could do
whatever you want,
the fuck you want, it's wild. Because it happened to Saddam Hussein's sons as well. They were like fucking wretched fucking
psychopaths.
Human beings.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, we got to the one, whatever his name was, Uday or Kuday, whichever one. Whichever one we got to with SEAL Team 6. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's what happens.
That's some wild shit. We seen some other trailers. What? Oh, Craven. Have you seen
Yeah,
this trailer?
Craven the Hunter.
I'm torn. Right? Because it looks like it could be a huge piece of shit.
After Morbius, I'm like, I have no faith with with the Sony, Spider-Man, Disney.
Is it canon that Craven has actual superpowers? He's always been like super agile, but I don't recall him actually having.
He has contended with people that like he's fought Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man always gets the upper hand, and wins eventually.
Yeah,
but he has. Yeah. He's got superhuman reflexes, superhuman senses, like with animals.
Yeah. Yes. I've always taken it as he was like
an extraordinary hunter.
Yeah, like a peak of human physiology, but they're like outright giving him superpowers in this one.
Sony is clawing. They're like, all we have is the Spider-Man villains. Like, fuck. So that's why I'm taking it with a grain of fucking salt. Plus, Russell Crowe. What the fuck has he done since Fat Zeus? And then he was in that Exorcist movie, which I didn't see because I was like, I see through this. I see through this.
See what we're doing.
The post-Exorcist?
Yes, this is shit. This is going to be shit based on a true story.
Listen,
no, of shit.
After you create a masterpiece like Gladiator, where do you go? That's really what happened.
No, he's made some good movies. He fucking did A Beautiful Mind. He did the James J. Braddock story. What was it? Cinderella Man?
Cinderella Man. Great movies. Okay, so those are three.
He was in Les Miserables, which is a wonderful musical. Shit. Robin Hood, which wasn't as good as the Kevin Costner one.
Shit.
Wasn't as good as the Kevin Costner one.
Noah. Huh?
Noah.
He did like Noah's Ark, didn't he?
He did Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
I know.
Russell Crowe.
I thought.
Hold on a second. That wasn't Kevin Costner.
That wasn't Kevin Costner, but it was. Oh my god, the guy, Angelina Jolie's dad. The fuck is his name? He was in Anaconda.
So do you
John
think?
Voight.
Do you think Maria Hill is actually dead, or is it a setup where they're gonna bring her back later?
Show, I don't know. I mean,
with some deep cover shit.
So far, I need to watch another episode before I decide whether I'm gonna buy Disney Plus again. But I wouldn't. You might be onto something. I wouldn't put anything past this.
Yeah. I suspect that his limp is bullshit, and he's using it as a way to make people think he's older and less likely to be able to keep up with what's actually happening.
Yeah. Noah. Yep.
He was in Noah.
2014.
Okay.
Shittiest movie. So fucking bad. So fucking bad. But yeah, he's known for Les Miserables, prize fighter, the greatest beer run ever.
He was in the greatest beer run ever? That's what I'm saying. Like the roles he's been in lately are just no.
Yeah, they've been bad. The Nice Guys was a good movie. That was a good movie.
Yeah, he's phoning shit in, so that's what I think. He's in Craven, so what? He plays the dad. He might even pull Will Smith. He might be in it for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and then done.
Yeah, so don't take it with a grain of salt, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
But without doubt, I think you guys are right. Gladiator is probably the quintessential best movie that Russell Crowe's ever made.
Yes.
I mean,
and if I had to pick a number 2, it's A Beautiful Mind. A Beautiful Mind was
But for
really
me,
good.
my number 2 would be Cinderella Man, just because the
Ooh,
James J. Braddock story was really good.
Yeah,
Really
those
good.
are top 3 for sure. For sure of his catalog.
Even though James J. Braddock did do some fucked up shit and fuck Joe Lewis, but well, yeah, it's American history.
Hey man, it's America. You do what you fuck who you want.
Yeah.
He
fucked Joe Lewis.
He fucked him.
He fucked him.
There's a lot of shady shit that happened in boxing. You know, people using plaster for their hand wraps.
The most corrupt sport on the planet.
Using horsehair gloves so they can make.
I think soccer has probably got to be more
the decisions I've seen and shit throughout boxing.
The flop in soccer is so bad. It just makes the whole sport
look
terrible.
Well, it's like Teddy Atlas said about boxing. He said it's the only sport on the planet where, like, the night before a major fight, you'll see the referees, the judges, the management for one of the fighters, all out to eat at the nicest restaurant in the town. Say the fight's in New York. It'll be New York. It'll be at the nicest restaurant in New York with members of the fucking New York Athletic Commission.
Yeah.
All at the table. Eating.
Making
they said
decisions.
If the Yankees were playing the fucking Boston Red Sox and you saw the New York Athletic Commission meeting with the head of the Boston Red Sox, that fucking game would be over.
Yeah.
They'd be like, no, wait, what's happening at that table?
You don't need Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, to know that someone's getting fucked. Someone at that table is getting
There is
fucked.
a mystery afoot.
Exactly.
I mean,
in boxing, it happens every fight. Every fight.
Look how many years UFC couldn't go to New York.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they didn't pay the troll toll.
It just happened. It just happened in boxing with Vasily Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. I watched the fight. I have eyes in my fucking head. Vasily Lomachenko won the fight. Devin Haney won a decision. It happens all the time. Pacquiao this is why anyone that doesn't realize how fucking corrupt boxing is, I invite them to watch Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley 1. Pacquiao hadn't re-signed his contract with Bob Arum. He did not agree to renew his contract with Bob Arum's promotion. Pacquiao beat, even from an objective point of view, even if you watch it with I was a Pacquiao fan, but even if you watch it not being a Pacquiao fan, Pacquiao won undisputably 11 of the 12 rounds. Easily. I mean, beat the piss out of Timothy Bradley. Yeah. Timothy Bradley won a unanimous decision.
Holy shit.
The FBI launched an investigation into the Nevada State Athletic Commission because that was a fucking crime.
That was a blatant
Bob
robbery.
Arum stole that fight from Pacquiao.
Fuck.
Only thing that could have happened. Those judges were bought and paid for before the fight even started.
Now, if you don't take the person out before the fight is over,
in this day and age,
yeah.
Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder won.
Yeah.
Yes, Tyson Fury was knocked down twice. He got up. He won 10 of the 12 rounds, even if you count the knockdowns. Damn. He won 10 of the 12 rounds. Yep. It was a draw. Why was it a draw? Because it was in the United States, and they didn't want to fucking take Deontay Wilder's belt. Look what happened the other 2 times they fought. He knocked Deontay Wilder out.
He's like,
it's horseshit.
I'm not leaving it in the judge's hands.
That's right. He had to. He fucking had to.
Fuck, man. Yeah,
dude got up to 400 pounds and was doing cocaine and driving drunk. Came back after 3 years off. Still beat the guy, and they couldn't give him a win. I was like, wow.
There was a couple of fights like that in the beginning of the UFC that I remember that, like, I used to love Clay the Carpenter Guida.
Fantastic.
He outworked, outpunched, outkicked everybody. Person in the fucking ring.
Still going.
And there were some times where I'm like, he would lose by decision, and I'm like, outside of the fights where he clearly lost, I'm like, who the fuck is judging this? Like, ring control, aggression, damage. Yep. Like, he may not have been the prettiest.
Matt Hamill versus Mike Bisping. It was in England.
Yeah.
Matt Hamill was a deaf wrestler. He beat Michael Bisping easily all 3 rounds. Unanimous decision, Michael Bisping. Why? Because it was in London, England.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To be fair, if I'm the judges I'm like, I've seen some soccer games. I know these hooligans, and I'm using the term properly, Ian. These hooligans will fuck me up if I do not vote for Michael Bisping. And you know how rowdy they get. They got songs.
Oh, yeah.
They coming for you like with war cries and shit.
They have soccer clubs for each team. Yeah, it's a gang that beats the shit out of you.
You ain't taking a train anywhere without getting fucked up.
Yeah. Unless you sing along with their song.
That's right. They say the words. I don't know them. I was just
United.
Can I hum? Can I hum? So you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
So MMA may have its fucked up decisions, but boxing. If someone asked me what the most corrupt, you're right though.
Yeah,
FIFA and soccer is pretty bad.
They're pretty.
They destroy
corrupt.
whole countries.
Yeah, they do.
It's a difference.
And then they leave them in ruins.
Yep. And now we have a bunch of giant stadiums that are bird sanctuaries in Brazil.
Yep.
Thank you for knocking down my neighborhood.
Yeah, man. They fuck people over big time. So
coming to a third world country near you. Where's the World Cup in 2020? Whatever.
Whether it's the World Cup or the Olympics, whenever you see it in one of those third world countries.
Yeah.
Whew, this last one was built with essentially slave labor.
Oh, Qatar, yeah.
Go world.
So here's the thing. This is a problem that's easily solved. If everyone that's competing contributes according to their economic capabilities, you scale it up or down, whatever, you average it out. Yep. You can have everybody paying to chip in.
Here's the thing also.
What's Uganda going to send there?
Here's the thing also. Once people found out that slave labor was being used, one, you as a competitor, how the fuck do you show up? And two, you as a viewer, how the fuck do you watch?
Illegally stream it.
Knowing exactly what's happening.
Bro, have you seen the skating that they do? I'm watching.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, man.
I always tune in for the gymnastics, the weightlifting, the judo. I try to,
As far as the athletes are concerned, you'd have to imagine that their head is kind of buried in the sand for a little bit of this because they're just training so hard and trying to represent.
They have tunnel vision.
There almost should
country.
be. There almost should be an Olympic facility that's built and just use the same fucking one.
That would just be smart.
Why are we building an entire new arenas of stadiums?
Yeah.
I mean, look at even in first world countries, these things go unused, vandalized. 4 or 5 years later, they're falling apart because they're intended for thousands of people. And what are they going to do? Have their local hometown soccer game match in it?
Yeah.
This is a stadium for a worldwide event.
Well, FIFA and the Olympic Committee are like these giant corporations. And then, like, if you look at where their money is always stored, it's always the same banks in Switzerland.
Yeah.
The same fucking banks in Switzerland.
Dirty motherfuckers.
Like, their money, the FIFA money and the Olympic Committee money is sitting next to, like,
they do
Colombian cocaine
They do their
cartel
little
money.
bounce around
Like,
from bank to bank to bank so they don't got to pay their taxes.
African warlord blood diamond money. It's all the same fucking bank. It's literally the same bank.
Same place Robin Williams kept his money.
He kept it in our hearts.
Yeah. Sure he did. So, has nothing to do with this. He can't save you now.
So how many episodes is the Secret Invasion supposed to be?
If it stays with its current model, it's like 6 to 8, right? That's what Disney Plus has kind of been doing.
7 Sundays.
I mean, they came out pretty strong in their first episode. It's an hour-long episode essentially.
Yeah.
So,
Invasion episodes. Let me look. Secret Invasion episode season 1. Let me see. How many?
Because I know some of
6.
I know some of
Six
the
episodes.
other shows that they're looking to do are going to be up in the teens for the number of episodes. Like the Born Again Daredevil is supposed to be quite a number of episodes. Now, I don't know if they're doing that because they're bringing in a bunch of people other than just him.
I wonder if Deborah Ann Wall will be in it. The redhead.
She is not. She's actually spoken out about nobody reaching out to her to bring in it, which it doesn't make sense to me, but also
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
she's not really a pivotal character in any sense.
So hot.
I mean, there's that. But, I mean, she doesn't really have any skill set that they can not use from somebody else. Like, they need a lawyer. They can lean into She-Hulk.
They may be leaning away from as much as the Lost stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
In the previous stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, are they going to bring back the other guy? What's his name? Fergie?
Foggy. I think he is.
Coming.
They are bringing
How are
some
you gonna
of
bring
the
him
people
and
back.
not the
Well,
Like,
he's the
it's
partner in the
better
law
than
firm.
I
yours.
guess.
That's not Fergie.
And I
Foggy.
believe Kingpin should be in there. He should be the main villain.
Who's still alive even after his daughter shot him or that chick shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's his best friend and it's his law partner. So they were kind of like shoehorned
him.
into.
I want Deborah Ann Wool. Fuck Foggy.
But I don't even know if they're filming or anything yet, so it's hard to say. Because some of the stuff they do is almost like right before it goes into production, some of these final decisions are being made because they're juggling so many things at once.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes they're showing like issues with some of the VFX because they had such a backup because they were doing so many projects at once. They quite literally just didn't have enough people
to do the work.
To work on it.
I just feel bad for fucking DC, like in a way, because they're done. Like the Flash was a pile of shit. Blue Beetle.
It's not going to
do
good.
There's two people here that aren't seeing it.
They're not going to do good in the numbers for Blue Beetle.
Like Blue Beetle, I don't see it drawing in people to come save the DC universe.
After that, it's what Aquaman is the last one.
You got Aquaman. You got the Blue Beetle. I'm not sure when they're going to be dropping the Superman movie.
You guys said Across the Spider-Verse was good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I might go see that. Tonight.
That's absolutely worth a watch. Okay. It's fucking good.
It's hard to say what DC can do at this point. I mean, they're looking at doing a reset. They already had all these films. Like I said, they had these films already shot in the can. They were going to put them out unless they wanted to play what they did with Batwoman, which was unprecedented. But if they were going to do that with like 3 or 4 films, that would be absolutely insane.
Drop them on streaming services and then move on.
Well, it's contracts.
That's true. I mean, I know it sucks for the actors. They thought they were going to be the next big thing. But, I don't see, as much as I like Blue Beetle in the cartoons, I don't see it doing big in the movie theaters, and I don't think Aquaman's so far removed.
I heard reports, and this is early critic reviews. They said that Aquaman 2 is, and this is the exact fucking word they used, unwatchable. They said that with all the edits and shit, they're trying to get as much of the Amber Heard shit out, and they said that the thing that the film that they screened and submitted to these early critics, they said it was unwatchable. So
I could see that.
We're talking much worse than the
because
Flash.
Aquaman 1 was good. It wasn't great.
Right.
But I'm like, it left room for improvement.
The Aquaman 1, I got lost in the scale of like the CGI and everything. And like I was just trying to, like they were introducing you to the Atalantean royal structure. And I was like, I really don't give a shit.
They shit the bed though, because there's one person on this planet, the good planet of Earth, that can make any movie about the ocean and aquatic people. Who would it be?
You're talking about bringing James Cameron.
Goddamn right!
To
James
do
Cameron for Aquaman. And you know what? I wouldn't even be mad if he brought the Avatar. Bring the Avatars into this motherfucker. Let's do it. I'm all about it.
I tell you what, they could have used them just for the underwater scenes.
His CGI is magnificent. Yeah. So if you want somebody that can really at least borrow some of his tech or some of his ideas, it could have made a huge difference.
Insider Viewer Anon described consensus of Aquaman 2 to be boring, not as good as the first, and potentially one of the worst DCU movies.
Oh.
Take us away. Thank you for joining the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where we shit on Aquaman.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
do. You can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
You can find us on your YouTube channel at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, take us away.
One would say we're almost the Ocean Quest of podcasts.
I like that. Deep cut.
Like
Deep
that?
cut.
Like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. So, also, if you guys want to go to our GoFundMe page, we're also building a submarine.
We are.
For one, Eddie's going.
Yes.
Me and Ian are building it.
We're sending him to the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
But we're not using a PlayStation controller. Fuck that. That's trash.
We're using a Nintendo
no carbon fiber.
No, that's right.
No.
This will be powered by an Xbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
360.
And we're using recycled aluminum.
Yeah. We're gonna make sure it's one that has like the red ring of death, prior to all the fixes.
There was so many reports of people that went down with him, and they were like, never again. The one person was like, all 4 times we went down, we lost connection with the team that was supposed to be helping us. It wasn't a submarine, it's a submersible, meaning everything that controls it isn't itself. It needs a secondary vehicle for help.
You're a billionaire.
As soon as I would have saw no safety line, I'm out.
Right, but you're a